Greetings. My name is Louise Dente, and I welcome you to yet another edition of Cultural Caravan. On this edition is a special, as we're inviting back the first Assistant President General, Brother Raymond Dugue, to our audience. Welcome, Brother Raymond.
Thank you, Sister Louise, for having us back on.
Yes, so right now we want to talk about some very important activities that are going on this month, particularly as it relates to celebrating the legacy of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. But one of the things before we go there is I'd like, for those of you people who may not be familiar with the organization, feel free to give us a brief overview of the UNIA and ACL.
When you talk about and when you think about the UNIA-ACL, you're really talking about Marcus Mosiah Garvey. You know, Mr. Garvey established the UNIA on Monday, July 20th, 1914 in Kingston, Jamaica at 121 Orange Street. And the reason why he does that is after having been born in Jamaica, which was a colony at the time, and where he experienced colonization, he traveled and visited many other places, a lot of places in Central and South America, and then he even went to Europe. And everywhere he went, Mr. Garvey realized that Black people, melanated African people, are always at the bottom. You know, and he reasoned that the whole world has made being Black a crime. So he says, I hope to make it a virtue. How he's going to make it a virtue is Black is beautiful. That up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. The Black skin is not a badge of shame, but rather glorious symbol of national greatness. So all his travels, he finally came up to, but he was working towards coming up with this conclusion that we, Black people, Africans, are universally oppressed because of race. And so he posits that any solution to this conspiracy, any solution to this situation has to involve race, and it must be first. Hence, race first. That's the underlying philosophy of the UNIA that Mr. Garvey is going to use. You know, what does he mean by race first? Well, your God must be your race. Your concept of beauty must be your race. Your positioning in life, your orientation must be your race. Your business, everything you do must be your race. And then, you know, Garvey reaches the ultimate where he says, guess what? Everything has to be about nation building. You know, a nation has spirituality, a nation has business, a nation has economics, and a nation has agriculture, manufacturing, contracting, services. So he says, until we become a nation, until we get that, we'll never be respected. So Marcus Mosiah Garvey, UNIA-ACL are one and the same. And this month, the month that we're in right now, August, we call that the Month of Mosiah. The whole month is geared towards celebrating Marcus Mosiah Garvey and what he means and what he brought to the table.
There were some things that took place before this broadcast, some activities. Can you just briefly share some of the activities that began the month that we may have missed?
Even before the month began, in July, we established the UNIA Math Academy. Let me tell you, this is something we've been thinking and planning for a long time. Because as you know, we're in Liberia and we built Liberty Farm. While building Liberty Farm, we realized there was a need for the children in the area in their schooling. So we had to create the Marcus Garvey Academy. Well, after you create an academy, you need curriculum. And, you know, we've discussed the books here, the first two books of the Marcus Garvey Academy. You know, you look around, Sister Louise, whether it's in North America, whether it's in Africa, and wherever we are as Black people, you'll find a common thread in academics. Our children, we know why, are just not being given the right tools, right equipment to be able to comprehend and to be able to solve mathematics. And we know why. It's painfully obvious. And so we went out, we created the UNIA Math Academy. It is mathematics, absolutely. Math is important. Math gives you focus, it gives you discipline, it gives you structure, and it even allows you to for other fields. But guess what? For us to be able to do anything, we're going to have to come together, pool our resources. That's arithmetic, that's mathematics. And our ancestors were the first mathematicians, first engineers, first astronomers, first architects, first pyramid builders, first stonemasons, first physicians, first surgeons, all of this. And so all of that is going into this math academy. Of course, we talk about Imhotep. We've had Dr. Rahman. He's probably the most accomplished Black mathematician in North America. And it's very comprehensive, and you'll see a lot of it involves reading. Unless you can read, you will not be able to do math. So all of that is being incorporated. So that was in July. And then so far in the month of August, what we've done so far is what we call Flag Day. It was August 13th, 1920, at the very first international convention that our ancestors came together, Sister Louise, debated, organized. I mean, it was like a government in exile. And what the end result was, we came up with a document. It's called the Declaration of the Rights of the Negro Peoples of the World. It was brought into existence, into fruition, notarized, went into law on Friday, August 13th, 1920. That is what we call Flag Day, because of in the Declaration of the Rights of Negro Peoples of the World, there's an introduction, there are 12 complaints, and then there are 54 articles. Article 39 states that the colors of the Black race shall be red, black, and green. So for all of our listeners and audience, whenever you see the red, black, and green flag, a lot of people call it the Pan-African flag, the Black nationalist flag, the African-American flag. It may be, but guess what? It is the UNIA flag. Mr. Garvey gave it to us on August 13th, 1920. So in New York, we celebrate Flag Day the first Saturday in August, and we normally hold it in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, right at the entrance of Ocean Avenue and Parkside Avenue. And it was excellent. A lot of people showed up. We had the drummers, we had the music, we had the speeches, and of course, we had the red, black, and green. And so that we've gotten involved in, and leading up to that, at the end of also July, we celebrated July 20th. July 20th is when Mr. Garvey officially founded and established the UNIA.
Most people know that the August 17th is the date of birth for Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and it's a holiday for many of us in our community. Tell us about the festivities this year, 2023, as relates to the celebration of the birth of the prophet, as many are calling, of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Talk to us now.
Well, okay, well, sometimes we call it, he is the prophet. I mean, what he did, Sister Louise, you think about it. He comes on the scene. He's able to organize 12 million Africans worldwide from 38 states of the United States of America and 41 countries on the planet. He's going to give us the red, black, and green flag. He's going to publish the Negro World newspaper, the finest literary work we've ever done as a people. And then he's going to give you a whole bunch of auxiliary organizations, such as the African Black Cross Nurses, the African Black Legions, the African Motor Corps, the Juvenile Division, the African Black Flying Eagles. You name it, Mr. Garvey did it. So he is the greatest among all. Anyway, having said all that, this prophet was born on August 17th in St. Anne's Bay of St. Anne's Parish in the northern coast of Jamaica. To us, that is the holiest day of obligation. In fact, Carlos Coates, whom you and I have discussed on your show previously, was the one who made August 17th a holiday. He said, it doesn't matter who accepts it, we're going to make it a Black holiday. So in the past, we've had discussions, we've had teachings, and we also have the parade. That was 1942. August 17th, Carlos Coates initiated the Marcus Garvey Annual Memorial Parade. And so just like then, we're holding it this year. We're going to assemble at 5. The parade starts at 6. It's a collaboration of the ANPM, that's the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement. That's the organization Carlos Coates established in 1941. He established the ANPM. And it's collaboration between ANPM and, of course, UNIA with our President General, the Honorable Michael R. Duncan. So we assemble at 5, we start at 6. We depart from Marcus Garvey Park, that's at 124th Street and 5th Avenue. And there we're going to march. There will be multitudes of people, multitudes of organizations. We have a standing marching band. And Sister Louise, I'm happy to inform our viewers that this band, their natural colors are red, black, and green. So what do you say to that? I mean, it's perfect. A 45-member Black marching band. We have several floats, several dignitaries, so it's going to be big. And then afterwards, we're having the celebration. This celebration will be at the Alhambra Grand Ballroom, that's at 126th Street and Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. People can start attending at 7. We'll still be marching, obviously, but we have people there to receive our guests. It's going to be a star-studded event. Many dignitaries will be there, of course. The keynote speaker is obviously the President General of the UNIA. Sister Ya Asantiwa will be one of the speakers. Dr. Umar Johnson is one of the speakers. I believe Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz is also coming. Anyway, you know what the message is going to be. Racial uplift, self-reliance, build it. Once you build it, people will come. And we use that same philosophy to build the Faka Rock. So that's August 17th. That's a big, big day. You can go to our website, which I will give now, www.unia-aclgovernment.com. Again, www.unia-aclgovernment.com.
After the 17th, there is another activity taking place. Can you talk about that event?
Oh, yes, with pleasure. You have to understand, let's put ourselves in Mr. Garvey's footsteps. Okay, he's traveled halfway around the world. He sees Black people at the bottom everywhere he goes. He's figured it out. Okay, the whole world has made being Black a crime. So he's got a solution. It's called the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And the reason why he calls it universal is because we are universally oppressed. We're at the bottom. Okay, look at this. He arrives in the United States March 24th, 1960. He doesn't even have $2 on him. So he's going to visit 38 states. He's blown away. He sees what Black people in America, in North America, have done. He can't believe it, Sister Louise. No one, you just think, put yourself in Garvey's footsteps. He was born and raised in a colony. He visits all what I would call borderline, not too much succeeding states, still controlled under colonialism, even if they have some nominal so-called independence. He sees Black people at the bottom. When he gets to Europe, he sees a different situation. He sees a functioning government for white people, by white people, of white people. And he says, wow, that's how governments work. Okay, he does research. He's going to build this UNIA. He does that. He's growing in Jamaica. He gets back 1914 by July. By July 20th, he's going to start the UNIA. He starts lecturing. He's promoting it. It grows. It definitely grows. When he goes to St. Anne's, that's the biggest jump the UNIA has ever had. But at that time, he was still communicating with Booker T. Washington, who tells us, cast down your bucket where you are. So he's communicating with Booker T. Washington, but Booker T. Washington dies. He passes away in November of 1915. So because of immigration restrictions, Mr. Garvey's not able to get in the United States until March of 1916. He goes about visiting the states. He visits Tuskegee because Mr. Garvey's initial plan was to build an industrial mega center identically to Tuskegee that would evolve into agriculture, manufacturing, contracting, everything you can imagine. But while Mr. Garvey's in the United States, he says, whoa, Black people have it going on. And, Sister Louise, now our viewers should appreciate this. As bad as it is here in North America, in the United States, and it is bad, we're pulverized. We have to beg and borrow for people to admit our lives matter. And still, all of this police brutality, miseducation, undereducation, sanitation, economic violence, environmental racism, all of that. Black people in America, in North America, are the best off on the planet. Garvey completely realizes this, and he says he's not going anywhere. If I'm going to build this nation, build this movement, it has to be here because, number one, there's a lot of Black people. This is the most amount of Black people he's ever seen. Don't forget, Mr. Garvey's never been to Brazil. So this is the most number of Black people he's ever seen, number one. And number two, because of outright segregation, racism, discrimination, Black people have no choice to build it and make it work for us. So he says, bet, we can use this. And so he's going to grow the UNIA. That's 1916. By 1917, he makes the profound decision. He's not going back to Jamaica. He's going to camp out here in North America. By May of 1917, he forms the first UNIA chapter outside of Jamaica. A year later, it's growing. And then don't forget, let me tell you, Garvey's at the right scene at the right time. July 2nd, 1917, there's that East St. Louis massacre. Garvey capitalizes. He tells Black people, look, you're just coming back. You're dying for white folks in fighting their wars. It's not working out. So we should be dying for ourselves. All of this, he's capitalizing. By 1918, he starts the Negro World newspaper. Sister Louise, that until the Black Star Line, that's going to be the single most important tool to recruit. They're growing. They're growing. Garvey's sitting on a ton of money through membership dues. He's going to get, by 1919, he's going to get about 45,000 people just in Harlem. So he uses those membership dues to buy their building, their first building, Liberty Hall at 120 West 138th Street. Okay, keep going, keep going. Garvey's got it going on. Then he comes up with the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation overnight. Now we're an empire. Now he creates the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation for two reasons. Number one is for travel. We were traveling. That was the form of travel, the group form of travel, similar to airplanes now. And we're paying prices and we're not being treated, if at all. So he says, no, we need to travel ourselves. But the other reason why he buys the Black Star Lines, why he creates the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation, is what you use ships for trade and commerce. Well, if you're going to be doing trade and commerce, you need commodities to trade and commerce. Hence, the Negro Factories Corporation. All of this, it's all sequential. Now, things are going on. So Garvey says, we've got to celebrate now. You see, we don't celebrate before we do work. No, we do work, you work hard, now you acknowledge. So he comes up with the first international convention. And it's going to last 31 days, from August 1 to August 31 in 1920. This is on August 13th, he comes out with the Declaration. And this is why our Flag Day is August 13th. And why does Garvey select August? Two reasons. Number one, he's born in August. He's got to give respect to that. But number two, August 1, 1838 is the date that the British Empire so-called ended chattel slavery in the English-speaking Caribbean. So August, with Garvey, everything is for a purpose. If he does a show, anything, it's for the upliftment of the race. It's to raise the self-esteem. Garvey doesn't do anything just for the sake of doing it. There's always a purpose, and the purpose is racial uplift and raising self-esteem.
Keeping what you said is that everything was deliberate, but rooted in
everything.
And so when I look at this list of different activities going on in Curacao, can you just briefly tell us about what's going to happen this year in Curacao from August 20th to 27th?
So every year we have our convention. So this is the 65th International Convention. It was decided from last year at the last convention, which was in Detroit. We selected Curacao because we've been there a couple of times. It's prime, it's ready. They need Race First. They need UNIA. Anyway, so we're going to Curacao for our convention. It's always, unless it's in New York, the convention will always be after Marcus Garvey's birthday. If it's in New York, well, the convention centers around Marcus Garvey's birthday because of the Marcus Garvey parade. But keep in mind, every major city has the Marcus Garvey parade. But New York is where Carlos Cook started it. So we take that to be something even more imminent. Anyway, so what are we doing in Curacao? The people's work. You know, it is a government. It is nation building. So we start August 20th. That's a Sunday, our health fair. 21st, most of our members will be arriving. We have a reception at the Landhaus Braki Party. Then Tuesday, all day sightseeing. We're going to visit, believe it or not, Sister Louise, the Liberty Farm Curacao. We have a Liberty Farm in Liberia. We also have a Liberty Farm in Curacao. So, and we'll be eating from there. So we'll do sightseeing all day. Visit Chete Boca, visit the Hato Caves. So the convention actually starts on Wednesday, the 23rd. Business meetings all day, discussing, planning, organizing. We're talking agriculture. We're talking end of colonization. We're talking about how to project Garvey and Garveyism in this century using all forms. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday night, there's also a mass meeting. That's at the University of Curacao in Willemstad. This is open to the public. All people will be there. And then Friday night, the 25th, after convention, we have our Red, Black, and Green Gala. The keynote speaker will be the President General, the Honorable Michael R. Duncan. Saturday, excursion, boat ride, Klein Curacao. Little Curacao, well, we have it's a boat. We're the only ones on the boat, Black owned, Black mate, Black team, Black ship, Black everything. So we'll be frolicking in an island, small island off of Curacao. And then Sunday morning, we have the very first Marcus Garvey parade. It's going to be on the 27th. We're initiating it this year, but going forward, it will be on the 17th of August every year. And let me add, August 17th is also a holiday in Curacao. That was when our ancestor Tula, an African enslaved, rose up 1795 and exacted retribution on the slave masters. He was eventually caught and executed. But August 17th is a national holiday. So going forward, it's going to be celebrating two events, Tula, 1795, and Marcus Mosiah Garvey, 1887. So Sunday morning, 27th, we're having a parade, the Marcus Garvey parade, starting downtown, walking. It's approximately 2.5 miles into Tula Park. The 3 bronze statues of Tula, a sister and an assistant, fighting to eliminate the vestiges of racism, vestiges of enslavement.
And I assume that there is a very strong Garvey presence in Curacao.
There is now.
That is tremendous. So if people want information about this event, let's say there may be somebody that says, wow, Brother Raymond, I got to be in Curacao. Would they communicate? Would they still be able to make arrangements or connect with the, if they wanted to be part of that too?
Our ambassador to Curacao is Brother Josue Camilla. And He is available every day, all day. Let me give out his information. He speaks English, obviously. He also speaks Papiamento. He speaks Dutch. So he's the right guy. Josue Camilla, our ambassador. His number is 863-443-0258. Again, 863-443-0258. He'll be more than happy to receive you with open arms.
Okay, so if somebody wants to go, they need to call this person. Great.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was tremendous. Well, listen, Brother Raymond, anytime you're on, you always share some very informative information
Sister
about the
Louise,
work.
Sister Louise, can I interrupt? I just forgot one more thing. In the Declaration of the Rights, Article 53 states that August 31st is an International Black People holiday. So that's another event. So when we get back on the 28th, in 3 days, we'll be celebrating the very first International Black Solidarity Holiday. So this is the date that Mr. Garvey deemed that we finally have come together, and therefore we have to celebrate. So we call the whole month of August the month of Mosiah. You've got Flag Day, you've got Mr. Garvey Day, Henrietta Vinton Davis is also born August 25th. The Negro World was started in August, and then you've got the convention in August, and then finally the international holiday, August 31st. So I know you'll be celebrating it with us.
Yes, yes. And so it's so much going on. I know some people call it Black August for that reason.
Yes.
So it's a very powerful time of year for those of us who are celebrating and really celebrating the life and legacy of Garvey and all the great people that came out of the Garvey movement. Just in closing, I want to, first of all, thank you for joining us, as always. And again, for our audience, we hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. We continue to encourage you to tune in, to write, and to tell a friend. And please visit our website at www.ccptv.org. But until next time, Louise Dente saying thank you.